What is up, guys, and welcome to the Nexus podcast. I hope everyone is doing well today. And yeah, we're on to episode 8 of season 2. And yeah, here to talk about all things pre-season. We had 2 pre-seasons over the weekend in the Oceania and Latin America regions. So we're going to delve into those a little and see if our predictions reigned true. But first things first, how you doing, Emmy?
I'm good. All these pre-seasons and us getting like almost to episode 10 is making me think like how we're gonna transition to season 3. So yeah, maybe we're gonna change hair color or something, but we'll have to come up with something different for season 3. But yeah, I'm good. To answer your question, all good. I've been testing a bunch with a few folks. Shout out to everyone who's testing with me. A few days to go. This is probably coming out. It is coming out like maybe like 2 days from preseason. So yeah, see you everyone who's coming to the EMEA one. And yeah, Harry, how's you doing?
Not bad, pretty good. Also, just excited to catch up with all the boys this weekend. Should be a great time. So, yeah, eager to celebrate our lovely Easter bank holiday weekend by also dying and coming back to life after a strong Saturday night out with the boys. Can't wait.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. How about you, Kieran?
Yeah, looking forward to the event. I mean, kind of glad that we get the bank holiday Friday and the Monday, so there's not as much stress, post-event coming back and having work the very next day.
I'm working on Monday, to be honest, but
sorry, I kind of am as well. Don't worry, a little bit hybrid. But yeah, looking forward to it. It's been a while since our last event, really. Well, I say that it was January, but it feels like forever.
yeah, I mean it's kind of, that was kind of the end of the first season era, wasn't it? So we're kind of like moving into a second season now. So yeah, it does feel like a new beginning.
How are you doing, Josh?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. Just been sort of prepping. I've been playing a bit of Star Wars Unlimited as well. Really, really fun games. And yeah, just still on the client a little bit. Trying to get to God rank. Slowly grinding my way up on Fusion World. So playing a lot of cards at the moment. Probably should dial back a bit, but who wants to do that? Who wants to do that? But yeah, no.
Actually, Harry is going to play Pokemon European in 2 weeks, right? Right after
The week after Wolves, yeah.
Well, you have 2 weeks of fire. What, 1 week of fire? How's that going?
I mean, hopefully I get KO'd pretty quickly on Friday, and then I can just have the weekend back. No, it's okay. I think the format is funner now that the set rotation is done. Like, a lot of difficult cards rotated out, and there's a bit more of an even playing field. So yeah, I've enjoyed it a tad more after the rotation. But Battle Spirits is obviously the main game, and as I said a couple podcasts ago, if anything, playing Pokemon has reminded me of how much we love Battle Spirits, and the new format's really fun. So again, looking forward to Wolves a lot more for sure.
100%. And yeah, we did have our second locals this week. 16 players sold out. So thanks for everyone that came and joined in with that. Congratulations, Enoch, for taking that down. I'm not going to give away his deck. You will see it. We will be posting some games over the weekend. So yeah, look out for those. But yeah,
We can say it's not Hydra. I think that's the key part that we can say it's not Hydra.
That's fair. It is not Hydra. So, but yeah, quick shout out to Jesters for sponsoring that, and quick shout out to all the players. So thanks for coming along. we will be running one on Monday after this tournament weekend. I'm not expecting it to be too busy, but hopefully we can get some good game footage and get some more content out for you guys. So, anyway, moving on to the main event. We are going to talk about preseason results for both Latin America and Oceania. So, let's go to that magical screen. All right, so on the screen right now we have the Sydney top 8, kindly presented by our good friend Cosmic. And yeah, what are we thinking, guys? It seems like it's actually fairly diverse. Like, surprisingly, I would have expected maybe more sort of Ira and Hydra, but we do have 3 Hydras. I'll just go through it, I guess. 3 Hydras, 1 White Control Tiger deck, 1 Ira deck, 1 Smaug deck, and 1, I think it's one of the new purple cards, if I'm not mistaken. Do you guys know the name of it? The 4-cost SR? Yeah, Urabusha, I think it is. Mm-hmm. And we also got a Valkyrie deck as well, by the looks of things. So like
was it aggro, maybe?
That was white aggro.
That was just white aggro, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
How many players?
48.
48. Wow, that was a good turnout.
Good turnout for Latam, and also want to kind of not Latam, sorry, Oceania. Also wanted to kind of just throw a disclaimer because there's a lot of confusion at the moment of is my pre-release going to be just purely Swiss, or is it going to be Swiss with top cut? Oceania was one of the ones where it was purely Swiss. So the winner Hydra deck from Adam, he went 6-0. And yeah, he won the whole event basically by that. So there was no top cut. So no open deck list, none of that kind of stuff. So just want to throw that out there for people because we're going to be covering an event in a bit that did have a top cut.
Well, obviously that kind of stuff is all TO discretion. So, you know, there's a lot of factors in play when it comes to this kind of stuff. But yeah, no, I mean, like, for example, our tournament coming up at the weekend will be Swiss with a top cut on the second day for top 8. So
yeah, so we have all genres and types of preseason, like pure Swiss plus top cut that we seen in Latam. We'll talk about it, and we have Swiss top cut day 2. So it's
at least we don't have any best of 1. Thank goodness. Yes. There was a bit of an uproar recently when a Grand Open was announced as best of 1, which was quickly U-turned, thankfully. But yeah, no. So any surprises here, guys, on the sort of roster?
Just to give like the places, so I'm just gonna, because obviously the pie chart doesn't reflect on the actual placement.
Yeah, please.
So Blue Hydra did come first, as I said, being 6-0. White Aggro was ranked 2nd in the Swiss, 5-1. By the shout out to Aaron Hadfield, the Hippocampo. He shared a White Aggro deck on Twitter, literally I think like a month or 2 ago. And in that, he provided a very in-depth breakdown about White Aggro and everything you need to know. And yeah, Ryan saw that deck and took the entire list card for card. I respect the net decking. I've done it before, and he got 2nd. So fair play. Congrats to Aaron for getting 2nd place in Australia. 3rd place was a Smag ramp deck with an Ira top end. 4th was Purple Serpents, and then a Blue Hydra, Ira mid range, and then the Machine Beast control. So, I mean, what do we think about White Aggro getting very highly placed?
I mean, it makes sense in this current meta. New sort of archetypes, new builds. Obviously, a lot of big guys, so a lot of people are playing for later turns. Obviously, not Hydra, but you know, a lot of decks are looking to really get to turn 6, turn 7 before they put their foot on the gas. So a deck that can kill on turn 2 is kind of like, well, maybe that is a good choice right now. Obviously, into blue, it's kind of risky because there's Floodstream and Raging Tide, yeah. But I mean, it's kind of like, you know, the deck itself, it's just a gamble, isn't it? You're gambling on your opponent not having the answers, and if people are trying to set up a lot, they might not have them.
Curiosity is a very important card right now, for that exact reason. You know, coming down, and I mean, essentially, that card can be a big difference maker. You know, my testing Curiosity is what shifts some of the games. But I actually wanted to get, as you know, Hari is our Ira, you know, big fanboy here. I wanted to get his opinion on the kind of like the third place list that took like Ira, but instead of playing pure red, it kind of played the Smag variant that we kind of know of instead.
Yeah, it was very interesting, and I think we mentioned this in the pod maybe a couple weeks ago that I think Ira does have quite a high ceiling to grow. The Ascend is the most generic out of all the new Ascends. It's just like a 4 cost or higher, and if it's a 6 cost, you get the big effect. Obviously, you can Ascend over itself to proc the effect if you need to as well. So, yeah, seeing it in this context was definitely very cool to see. Makes sense that you can just slap it over an Andromeda. Obviously, you won't get the effect if you pop your own Nomen Guard of the Nomen Guard that's destroyed, but you know, we had times last format where we'd just Ascend Nova over Nomen Guard, and if the board state is open for it, then it's still pretty good. So yeah, two very interesting lists. I think the pure sort of normal Ira list was also pretty bespoke. Like it had Hippocampos in the main. 3 Ira, 1 Nova was quite interesting as well. So yeah, this is part of what we love about Battle Spirits, right? Is everyone can have their own interpretation. And like at our online locals, I think we had one American player who found our fascination with 0 drops very interesting. And he's like, oh, it's so strange that all of you play the 0 drops over here. Like none of us over in the US play them. So yeah, it's cool list, interesting list, and definitely gives us some food for thought to go into Wolves.
Yeah, absolutely. I really like James Hub list. It feels like almost the world champ deck for set 4 in a way, like turbo ramp into your big bosses with some anti-aggro support and different, I wouldn't call it win conditions, but yeah, different ways to kind of execute the game. Super interesting. Really, really fun to play probably as well. But it's good to see that, you know, it wasn't a monopoly of Hydra, right? I think we might might be in a similar situation of, you know, Highlands, where we were like shouting for the wolf and there's no wolf. But what do you guys think about these results? Because maybe we can also, you know, attach it to Latam, where, you know, even though the turnout was lower, Hydra did not win. Purple won, in fact.
I mean,
so yeah, what's
personally, I wouldn't put Hydra. I think Hydra's stronger than Green was when it was hyped up. Personally, I think it's just more rapid. It gets there quicker. Feng Huang obviously was more of an expensive card to get out. It took more kind of setup, whereas Hydra's like you can literally play it on turn 2, which is an absolute joke. For me, I'm not surprised. I think 50% of top 8. Well, I would have predicted around 50% of top 8 in Hydra. I think it's interesting the amount of diversity within the top 8. I was expecting more Ira, and white aggro. I don't think I was expecting it top 8, but it's definitely going to be represented at the tournaments. That's a given for sure. But yeah, maybe surprised that there's not as much Ira. What about you guys? Did you expect Ira to be more sort of prominent in the results? Because there wasn't too much Ira in the top 8 in South America either, if I'm not mistaken. Anyone?
Yeah, I don't know if it's like surprising as such, just in that the results tend to go how they go. Like it's difficult to say if I mean, do we have all the deck lists? Like, I don't know how represented it was in general, but yeah, I guess you would expect to see a bit more of it, but considering, like purple's really good and white aggro is really good, it wasn't like, and smag piles are still pretty good. So I think, as it was pointed out earlier, to see it utilized in a different context than expected with the ramp green stuff was very interesting. I thought another thing that was very interesting from the list as well was the siding of Dustworm, just as a sort of generic thing. Like I think the winners list in Hydra sided to it. I think a couple of other lists sided it outside of that Star Dragon remit as well. So maybe that will be a new trend coming out or into set 4 as well, as people just siding Dustworm as an anti-aggro tool, anti-mid-range tool, anti-early pressure tool. So yeah, I think as the format will develop, like Hydra might have room to grow, other decks might have room to grow, but yeah, good to see it at least somewhat represented. If there were no Ira across any of the top cuts, it would have been like, yeah, that's pretty curious. But one made top 8.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it's
two actually.
I mean, it's interesting in to have like 5 unique decks around Hydra. It goes to show that there is still diversity there, but Hydra, maybe we were right in saying that Hydra clearly is a cut above the rest, or it could be down to it just being more represented and more people using it. But no, I mean it's promising, I think, to see uniqueness around the Hydra dominance within the top 8, in my opinion. But yeah, are you guys pleased with the way it's shaping up? The meta, that is.
Yeah.
I mean, did we want to touch upon Latam?
Yeah, absolutely, we can. Yeah,
this?
if you want to fire away some details, then feel free.
Absolutely, I've got it all here. So Latam, I think 23, 24 players around the kind of early 20 mark. So not as highly representative as Australia. But one thing we did find out is there was a lot of people at Latam who had only been playing for like the week, essentially. So that's kind of cool to see new people getting involved. So for that, by the way, that event, want to give a big shout out to the Nest, I believe. They live streamed the Grand Open, and I don't think anyone was expecting a 20-man Grand Open to be live streamed. So huge shout outs to them. They did 5 rounds of Swiss with a top 8 cut, which is very interesting for a very small player count, but it gave us a really good event. And shout out to all the stream. The production quality was actually really good, by the way, and the stream as a whole was really fun. So the top 8 there was 2 purple, 3 Hydra, 1 Ira, 1 Luster, and 1 yellow pile. When I mean yellow pile, I do just mean it was a random assortment of cards from set 4, set 3, set 2. Didn't have a theme. It played Cappy Scout, so that's kind of cool. But yeah, so the finals ended up being purple versus Hydra. One thing that's worth mentioning, shout out to our good friend Andy Rizzo from America. He was the only American who traveled over. He actually placed 5-0 in Swiss. He was undefeated in Swiss, which usually, when you're not doing top cut, you would have won the tournament. And he got all the way to the finals, and unfortunately lost in the finals to Purple. So Purple proving itself really well, and we saw Purple versus Hydra quite a few times on stream, and the Purple player was pretty in it, like for pretty much most of the matches. There was a clear, I want to say, like some of the Purple players on stream weren't as maybe experienced as they could have been. So unfortunately, when you're playing against a really good player like Andy, you got to be on top of your game, and you got to know all the ins and outs and combos. And there was a lot of times we saw Purple players nearly having the game against Hydra if they just spotted the combo lines to really push their advantage. But yeah, Purple took it. Purple won the Grand Open, preventing Hydra from taking back-to-back. So I guess the floor is open. What do we think about Purple winning a Grand Open?
Call me Griezmann, baby.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say this is kind of like what we talked about earlier in the season when we said that we were excited about the fact that it seems like we're gonna have a lot of like different archetypes and different colors fighting for, top spot, and this is exactly what is happening. I guess there's a slight exception for now on maybe yellow and green representation, but still, like, we actually see pretty much all the colors being used and performing pretty well. You know, I was rooting for um, Andy, and we were watching the live, but it kind of gives us hope that Hydra, sorry, is not just blowing out every single deck. It's still tier 0 realistically, like we see the results, but we can do it, boys. It's doable. Harry, what do you think?
I want to just
Yeah, I
interject
think
1 second and just shout out. So, as Emmy mentioned, we did a watch party. Make sure you join the Nexus Discord server in the description, because that's where we do all our watch parties. So if you want to join in, there you go. Join the Discord, and you guys will see when we do a watch party.
Yeah,
There's our little shout
we
out.
made our own commentary because obviously we don't all speak fluent Spanish, except for Aaron. For some reason, he speaks Spanish.
Yeah. For some reason, Aaron, he was our translator.
Unless he's just like making it up, and we're all just like, okay, yeah, sure, Aaron, sounds about right. But yeah, it was a good time, to be honest. It was fun. It went on for quite some time into the night, but yeah, it was
we were streaming it from like, I want to say like 5 p.m. all the way to like just past midnight or something. It was it was a day.
But that's also testament to a well-run tournament, as they did do 8 rounds, and no, it was great. Even if we didn't understand the commentary, it was still awesome. So, but yeah, no. So
go on, Harry. Did you want to put your thoughts in quickly?
Well, just on purple, yeah. I mean, it's strong, and we've seen that it's got good representation at both events. Within our own sort of local tournaments, it gets good representation as well. I think we commented on it sort of at the very start of the set 4 scene that double deadly helps a lot. Ouroboros helps as well, and I think the thing with purple is like you can build it in a million different ways. You can go really impale a forest toolboxy with it, or you can just go curse, swing, and Maduke's really good right now as well, and a lot of decks aren't able to. I mean, you'd think going into the meta, like, okay, just fort Dream Bomb and everything, but it's not that simple with Seabed, disrupting it. It gives Maduke this opportunity to sit around and really disrupt those decks. So, yeah, big up the purple. Glad to see it taking an event, and we'll see how it fares at Wolves as well.
No, absolutely. And
What
yes,
are your thoughts, Josh? What do you think? You happy with it, or
what with the way the meta is?
Yeah,
I guess so. I mean, Hydra dominance, I would rather avoid it. It would be nice to just see one Hydra on each top 8 and see complete variation. But to be honest, I can't really fault it that much, because it's not just like 2 decks dominating the whole thing. You've got Hydra there in force, but then unique decks around it. So it for me, it shows its promise. And I think Hydra probably doesn't need actually banning or adjusting. I think once the player base learns how to play into it better, it's just going to become weaker, because it's kind of just the boogeyman at the moment. So I think in time Hydra will actually just sit with all the other decks by the looks of things, and the meta should be quite diverse. Well, that's what I'm hoping for anyway. Yeah.
I guess statistically the higher ranked continents at Worlds was America and Europe, and both of our pre-seasons are coming up. So Hydra might just sweep all top 8s, right? Well, not if you're in America. You guys don't get a top cut, but
just
Hydra
rub
might
it in.
Hydra might win both tournaments, right? And then I guess maybe we might be talking about a different subject, right?
Yeah, I mean, if if we get the same kind of breakdowns in top eights for Europe and America, then I'll be pleased. Because I was expecting 75% Hydra wins.
Well, one discussion I want to just throw in there quickly is that one thing I guess one thing we should probably consider is that, as I said, Latam, there was 24 people, and a lot of people there had only played the game for like a week. So most of them probably didn't even know what a Hydra was. And some of the lists that got top 8, you could tell they were built very, very last minute. There wasn't much like thought into the decks as much. I mean, I'm not gonna. I love seeing Cappy Scout get top 8, but that's not a top 8 vanilla. That's all I'm saying. And I spoke to Wei from Australia, because he went to the Australian event, and he mentioned that there was a massive lack of not just frogs in Australia, but also like hydras, like actual like X-res. There wasn't as many in circulation as you may think. So that could be that these two continents just didn't have the cards to really push that hydra strategy. So maybe we'll see at Wolves or is it Texas, the American one? Yeah, Texas.
Yeah.
So
do you think we're going to have that problem? Like, do you think there's going to be players that don't have, like, do you think it's going to be common, for players to have 4 frogs if they're playing Hydra?
Definitely not. We've
frog
had
is
that
hard, right?
problem already. Yeah, like the UK has one big distributor for Battle Spirits, and it all sold out immediately. So like, yeah, I mean, we know anecdotal cases of people wanting to play a deck a couple weeks in and they aren't able to get it because no one has it, and like the only option is to buy boxes. But then if most of the players got the stuff that they want for Wolves straight away, then who are you selling the excess from the box to? It's like, and also the pull rates amongst the boxes can be pretty bad. Like, we know countless people bought boxes and got 2 Rixa. It's like no Ira, no Hydra, 2 Rixa, Gembu, Oroboshos, dot box, and it's like, yeah, there'll be loads of people who don't have it. So yeah, hopefully as it goes on, it'll ease out and people will get their hands on them.
I mean, we didn't get our promos till what, 2 weeks ago, is it now, or 3?
2 weeks ago. Yeah, I picked them for the online locals. I picked them up literally the Friday before the locals.
But I will say more frogs have been appearing on like Card Market over the last, I think, week since we did the last episode. They've been selling at a very steady price of £25 a pop, or $32 for those wondering. It's actually on the Card Market bestsellers trending right now.
Wow, I mean that's actually pretty kind of crazy. But it's testament to how strong the card is, I guess.
Was as well, right? Like when Axbiter was sort of coming up.
I think this is worse than Axbiter. I think Axbiter. I think Axbiter was like 20 max from what I remember. I could be a bit wrong, but I think this is a bit. But it makes sense to be a bit worse than Axbiter because there's less stores now. These kits were a bit more messed up in terms of distribution. You don't get as many frogs in one kit as you do Axbiters in one, because before you would get a playset because there was less colors in circulation.
True. Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, we've I always kind of look on eBay and stuff, but kits have been selling for around like £60 to £70, and that could only just be 2 frogs, by the way, if you low roll the gamble. So I would not recommend buying kits. Also, you shouldn't be anyway.
But, bad practice. Yeah, I mean, bad practice.
we don't condone that kind of stuff here. We don't promote. Sorry, we do condone it.
I mean, any availability is good for cards. Like, I don't really like it when cards become extortionately priced just because of supply and demand. I know in some instances it could be good, but this is a common card that isn't even foil. There's no exciting. It's not like an exciting card to obtain. So for me, it's kind of just a state of the game issue, I think, as well. Like, there's not enough locals out there. If the game was in a healthy position and all the locals had kits like they do for every other game, then it wouldn't be an issue. But and the fact that they've come in quite late, although we're still in pre-season. The new set has been out for some time, and in reality, locals should begin as soon as the set comes out. So the availability has been an issue here, but hopefully Bandai do better with future sets, because they seem to be going hard with their sort of axe biter way of doing things and just putting one ridiculous promo in the boxes, which is fine for me. I think that's an exciting thing, but as long as they're available to people, that's the important thing.
It makes the locals grind. Like, I will say set 2. I mean, set 2 had Scope Owl and Tin Soldier, as Harry knows. Repping Tin Soldier to its highest placing finish. Set 3's one was a bit of a dud, and I will say since set 4, like, as ridiculous as Frog is, like, there has been that kind of like hype about going to a locals and getting your pack and opening it and pulling the high roll of the Frog. I think like we didn't have that kind of hype in set 2 or set 3's promo pack, so I guess there is an argument about these really strong cards being like quite hype, but I wonder like if they were just alt arts of really popular cards instead of uniquely mechanically different cards, would it be this kind of same hype?
No, I don't think it would. Coming from someone that's playing Fusion World right now, where they take the One Piece approach of alt-arting commons and stuff, it's just not as interesting. The appeal isn't there. I think the chance to get cards which are unique to the store is like paramount for the success of this game in game stores. And I think the kits are fine. Like the winner cards are nice, intricate foiling.
They need to stop making the chase card not a winner card. They've done it like every single TP at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know who's picking with the winner cards, but yeah, they need to realize what people are going to want, because a winner Frog.
I mean, does anyone want my like winner Golem guy that could have been a Frog? Just saying. Like,
no, no one wants that card. It's horrible.
I feel like winner Black Lance and Dual Eagle were probably the best hits so far.
OG winners for sure.
And the Black Jaguar as well was fine.
True.
It's fine, yeah.
Very good at its time.
Set 1 was just good. What can we say?
Yeah, it was pretty good. But yeah, so let's move on from there. Go to your local game stores. Tell them to stock Battle Spirits.
And your local Discord.
Yeah, and if you can't, just come to your local Discord. I mean, I'm not expecting it to continue to sell out at 16, but if it does happen for like 3 or 4 weeks in a row, I will try and facilitate a bigger locals. It's just time as a factor, really, because you do.
Josh, we before I forget, we get asked continuously, like every single day, is it open only for Europe, or like how does it work? Maybe we can address it here.
No, it is open for the whole world. So basically, you pay your entry fee, and how it works is once you want to get your promos posted to you, we basically organize postage at your cost, essentially. And it can be done. It can be done if say you wanted to do like 5 events before you do it, then we can post them all at once just to save money. It's that kind of deal. In the UK, it's not so bad. It's only like it's like a first class stamp really to send them, so it's not a big deal. But for anyone that's
event, right?
Yeah, so for anyone that's abroad, it's kind of like just kind of build it up, and that way it's just a bit more cost effective for you, because sending a package every week's not going to be very appealing.
You officially started the league as well.
I have, yep. I need to update this week's, but basically, so I'm for 12 weeks in a row, you're able to obtain league points, and then after 12 weeks, we're 2 weeks in now, so 10 more weeks, the top 8 will be picked from whoever has the most points, so you get 3 points per win. Yeah, 3 points per win, and then 5 points for every 3 events that you enter. So like a kind of a loyalty bonus, I guess. And yeah, there'll be additional prizing there. There'll be cash prizing for the top 3, as well as promos and other stuff. And I might, depending on the popularity of the league, there might be a second sort of top cut, like a B league, so we can get a couple of, so there's more to play for than just the top 8. But we'll see. It depends on how many players join the league in general. But if there's if there's quite a lot of keen players, we will do a second top cut, which will also have additional prizing. Pretty much that's where most of the entry fees will be heading. So, but yeah,
Josh isn't pocketing them all, don't we?
Most of it, but I need money for my altar hydras and all that. I mean, yeah.
You will run with the cash.
Rolling.
Come join us. If you can't play the locals, still join the Discord. We're there playing. We also play the locals as well. So, join us.
Yeah, and if you might have a chance to get recorded and be on the YouTube channel if that's something you're happy with as well. So yeah, come and hang out, guys. It's a pretty casual place as well, and yeah, we like to just have a good time. So, but yeah, moving on. We're gonna move on to the next thing, which is basically talking about how this weekend has impacted our predictions for the upcoming events that we are attending / America. So what do you guys think? Are you still in the same mindset as you were pre this weekend? Like, do you think it will be a Hydra bloodbath still, or do you think the European and US metas will be a bit more prepared for it?
I'll give you a controversial take. I want to see how controversial this is, but heading into the European one and the North America one, you might want different strategies because what we said in terms of the structure of the tournament. So we will have top cut on day 2. They won't have the top cut. So I think it's part of the strategy in choosing the deck. Aside from I'll just play whatever is super strong, is like, okay, I need to do best in Swiss, right? So what am I gonna expect there? And what should I side for a Swiss day, opposed to, okay, I need to do well in Swiss, and then where I'm in top 8, I also want to do well. So what is gonna make me have an edge in top 8?
I mean, what is the factual difference between? Because obviously you have to win best out of 3 games anyway, so it's in reality it's the same difference. But what is the difference between? I guess you got the open deck list, but how would that really affect what you're building? Because obviously it's spicy stuff doesn't really matter at that point.
I don't know. Personally, it does affect a lot. Like, if you think about it, you just need to do Swiss. You just want to be most effective as possible in addressing those lists that you expect being in the upper bracket. So you like tune in for maybe the Ira and the blue Hydra matchup. And then the other matchup that you might get, I don't know, like you just have like 1 card or 2 cards inside or whatever. You just tune in the proportion. But if there is a top cut, one of the reasons is what you mentioned. So you finish your Swiss, you get into top cut, people see your list, and that's a huge factor because you might not run like key cards that your opponents see and think, okay, they're not running this card, I'll be fine from game 1, or the reverse, so they have that knowledge. but also you need to think, okay, I'm gonna have to play top 8. I have 3 games. What's gonna be in top 8? What can I expect? So I do think that there is a difference in style to approach that tournament, but I'll open to Harry and Kieran as well. I'm curious about your thoughts.
It definitely affects like what wins. Like I think we've seen it in our own experiences of Top Cut where you lose to someone day one, and then that educates you into playing that particular iteration of whatever matchup it is to win the next day. Like we had it in Glasgow between me and you, Emmy. We had it in a launch event with me and you, Kieran, and we had it in PT2 with Jetchun as well. All of them. The day one Swiss results were reversed in Top Cut the next day. So, and you know, it's a game where top level matches are often incredibly close, and it comes down to fine margins. So, yeah, it does make a difference in terms of what comes out on top at the end of the day for sure. But obviously, in terms of that sort of Top Cut representation, you know, the Swiss dictates what's in Top Cut anyway. So, yeah. How about you, Kieran? What are your thoughts on it?
I think at the end of the day, you know, as cliche as it is, I don't know if it makes too much difference. I think mentally it can make a difference knowing that, like, you know, if you lose one game, you can't win the whole event if it's a Swiss. You literally have to go undefeated the whole day. But if there's a top cut, you can afford to lose one game, maybe two, and have good tiebreakers and sneak into top 8, and you know you still have a chance. Um, and as we kind of said, top 8 doesn't mean anything anymore, really. Like it's just top 16 or top 4. So um, I don't think it matters much because you know you should be trying to win all your games as you would normally. Um, but yeah, I mean there are differences, but I think in the grand scheme of things, it is kind of just a similar event. I would go with Josh on that. But I do prefer top cut.
I'm kind of in a position where I don't really think about topping anyway. I mean, I hope to, but I'm never, you know, I don't have that kind of confidence within Battle Spirits where I'm like, I'm going into this to win the tournament. You know, I hope to get there one day. It's just that for me, it's not an easy game to get up to that level, in my opinion. But hopefully, I'll get there at some point. I'm sure I don't think I'm inept and unable to do it. I just don't have that mentality. I think the I need to be prepared to be doing top 8 kind of deal. Whereas in Dragon Ball, I do, for example. I always took that kind of mentality to where I wanted to win the tournaments and come first.
I think you're a bit too harsh on yourself. Also, there's a lot of luck involved, right? And I think you've seen it last season. You know, towards the end, like you put like also so much time and effort in this game, and we all do. All it takes is like one good result, right? Like the one person that needs to believe it is yourself. Without
It's not that I don't believe that I can win. It's just I don't have the mentality where I'm like, you know, where Swiss is an afterthought and I need to be prepared for the top 8. For me, I need to be prepared for everything, and that means having the best deck possible, regardless of an open deck list, regardless of battle tricks and stuff. And maybe that would end up making me lose my first top 8 match once I got there. But at the same time, I just, you know, I couldn't. I don't think I could go into a tournament with that overconfidence. I think it would just lead to more disappointment and being harder on myself when I really don't want to stress much when I'm playing games. It doesn't help me at all. It just has a counter effect on my concentration and everything else. So less pressure, more fun, better results. This is what's working for me. But yeah, so I mean, what do you guys think? Do you think these results that you've seen, are they going to change your mindset going into this weekend, or are you still, you know, is as expected?
My bold prediction for this set is that there'll be one Bark Maiden running deck in top 4. feel like Bark Maiden's a little minx, and it gets applied in a bunch of different decks. Like you get green tempos that are looking very strong. Like it's quite comparable to white aggro, where they are able to get up in your face really quickly. They've got the new Tokiwa Ascend as a regen engine, so that's been quite a popular deck in our locals as well, and it looks pretty spicy. Also, purple lists are running Bark Maiden as well. I think it gives a good bit of resilience to Hydra, because the Bark Maiden can tank a Hydra pop and then maybe cheat something out, like a Scope Owl to block it. So yeah, I'm gonna stand Bark Maiden to get someone that PT voucher on one of these weekends.
Yeah, Bark Maiden's a very great card, and I feel like her potential hasn't even started to be unlocked yet, and she's a bit of a sleeper card that will, as time goes on, develop into something that's probably a staple card. I mean, as far as tempo goes, having the abilities to aggro or defend and have that portal to play a free card, I mean, that's quite unprecedented in this game currently. There's not many situations where cards are completely free to play, so I feel like she will have her day and potentially be a new kind of hippocampo splashable card that, you know, people can use in meta strategies.
I'll be honest, I think she's overrated at this point. I think she's got too much. I think she's too overhyped at this point. Like, I think she's good.
Why?
But I think she's absolutely... Like, I think when we first saw her, and when everyone first saw her, she's like, oh, this is an amazing 3-drop. Everyone's going to be doing crazy stuff with this. Nothing's been done with it. I think some of the purple players did play her, but guess what? The list that performed the best so far wasn't even playing her. I think purple just doesn't... Right now, in the game, purple was the color people were like, okay, purple used to play Worker Ant-Man, let's now play Lucerium as the compromise. The difference is Lucerium doesn't ramp just for nothing. You need to target another Leaf Kindred or a 3-cost or less Nexus, which in that purple deck, the only one you're playing is Sanctuary, basically. Purple doesn't really have any good 4 or 5 drops to cheese out, in my opinion, either. I think the best 4 or 5 drops to cheese out are like reactive ones, like maybe Aldeed or Hydra in white tempo. But even white tempo, I don't think she's got a place because she doesn't really play into the strategy enough. So I think like she hasn't worked as well because that ramp effect's a lot more restrictive than what I think some people were really thinking of. And yeah, the second effect is there, but you kind of still need to ramp cores to like utilize that.
Do you think if her destruction effect was level 1 that she'd be a better card?
Oh, absolutely.
Would we even be having this conversation in that case? Or...
I think also it's just like, because right now it's 3 cores maintenance you got to keep on her, and if you're not playing like in green, she's amazing. In green, you play 4 copies, right? Just because green, right? But I think outside of green, she doesn't really have that place right now, and I don't know if she actually will. I think mono cards are getting better and better. We're seeing mono get put. I mean, we're seeing mono get pushed even more in this set. It's the spells that are the rainbow package, essentially. Everyone's playing like the best spells. We've seen a ton of deadly balances in the main deck recently, and dream bombs and star bless is obviously still a thing, and ice shields will always be a thing. So I still like her, by the way. I just think she's overhyped in this current, like right now in the format. I think she's overhyped.
I mean, talking of overhyped, I've been our friend Enoch. I don't mean to put him on the spot here, but he the other day in conversation uttered that Hydra is overhyped and not very good as people think.
Not very good. That's a crazy thing.
Well, not as good as people think.
That's fair.
Discuss.
I don't think it's tier 0. I think Emmy said it was tier 0 before. I don't agree. I think you can tell when a deck's tier 0 in a card game. Like, when a deck's tier 0 in a card game, it's absolutely rampant, it's dominating, no deck actually has a chance, it's just this deck only. And maybe that's going to be the case, right? Like I said, we haven't really seen America or Europe, do their thing. Maybe they will make it a tier 0 format. I think the common tier 0 consensus is if a deck is like 60% of top cut, that's usually when you're approaching tier 0 format. For multiple, not just one is showing, but like, because like I think Fable Beast dominated top cut in like Utrecht, but it wasn't a tier 0 deck. It was just a one-off thing. So I don't know if it's tier 0. I think it's really strong. I think it is the deck to beat. Like how Fable Beasts were the deck to beat going into Worlds. But I don't know if it's crazy. What do you guys think?
So you're not just going into it worrying about Hydra anymore. You're actually having a more diverse sort of mindset.
There's a lot. I mean, Hydra's still going to be the most played deck there, in my opinion, in the top ranks, I think. But you can't sleep on things like purple or green, or like the special text people are trying to splash into counter Hydra if you're playing a Hydra deck. It's why I'm not definitively playing Hydra, because do I want to be in the crossfire of everyone teching in against my deck? Do I want to be playing mirror matches all day? Not really. So that's why I don't know what I'm taking to Wolverhampton yet. I'll put my hands up. But yeah, what do you guys think about?
What about
sorry,
you,
Matilda.
Harry? What's your thoughts on the upcoming
Hydra.
meta and Hydra's place in it?
Yeah, I think obviously we are still in the sort of pre-release meta. This is going to be like the starting point of the set 4 format rather than where it ends. So, it's going pretty much as we felt it would, where Hydra is the front runner, but as Kieran said, it's not tier 0. It's not like everything is just Hydra, and it's one of the things that makes Battle Spirits a great game, is that it's very difficult to have a tier 0 deck. Like, we've never had a tier 0 deck. It's just the Axebite Adepts deck was not fun to play against just because of the nature of it. But still, like, everything will lose to something. I think the thing that makes Hydra maybe a bit more prominent at the moment is the fact that it's a new problem. So you have to figure out ways around it, whereas the pre-existing decks are largely the same decks that they were, and the things that beat it last time will still beat it now. Obviously, there are exceptions and switches in that respect. But yeah, Hydra does prompt thought, and you do have to test against it quite a lot. But yeah, it should be a diverse playing field. You can't go into it just being like, oh, my deck beats Hydra, but beats nothing else. Then it's like, okay, then you're going to lose to White Aggro or Serpent Purple or Ira or Fable Beast and all the other myriad of things that are there. So I think Hydra probably is the best deck going into it. Whether that will be represented in terms of Hydra winning it, I'm with Kieran in that I think that people will be showing up. Like, if you show up with uncertainty about your Hydra matchup, like, you're asking for a bad time. And it can be quite even, like, I think from the point of view of Ira, like Star Dragons, it is fairly even. Like, it's quite high rolly either way. Like, they can high roll, you can high roll. He who high rolls wins. There are decks that have a bit more of an iterative even matchup against it. Mirror matches are obviously a bit as well, as Kieran said. It's like the frogs, the hydras, the impaler forest.
I mean, at least they're quick. Like, that's the important thing, I think. But yeah, what about you, Emmy? What are your thoughts on the upcoming meta? Time's moving on, and so we need to get your thoughts before we continue.
Yeah. Well, actually, yeah. Let's just wrapping up. I'm just excited. Looking forward to this weekend. Looking forward to see everyone and playing it out. I just love the energy. Like, everyone, like, reaching out and talking about lists and trying to predict. I think this is the best part of this game. Like, the quiet before the storm kind of thing, the journey there. But no, I'm feeling super excited. And yeah, speaking of friends and people that we'll meet there, we have a few questions. Maybe we can take this question to wrap up today's episode.
Yeah, I was just gonna quickly fire them out to you guys.
Well, I think there's 4 questions, right? So if we want to do one each.
Do however you want to do it. It's just got to be quick. So yeah, we'll get into these questions. Firstly, from Josh S. So I'll just fire it out to Kieran. Do you have a favorite video game / game series?
Ooh, That's a tough question to get just on the fly, isn't it? Series. I'm a huge fan of the Monster Hunter series. If I have to be honest, I think that's the series I played the longest. Absolutely love Monster Hunter games. If no one's ever played one before, I'd highly recommend. They're on pretty much every single console out there. Yeah, absolutely love Monster Hunter series, and any card game as well. But we'll go with that.
Okay, do you want to ask the next question?
Yeah, I'm gonna ask. I'm gonna ask this to Josh. Is there a franchise crossover you would like BSS to do, like the Ava collab, for example, like a full collab?
Dragon Ball. It is a simple question. I mean, Dragon Ball or Final Fantasy VII, either or would be really great. I know they wouldn't probably do either of them. They could do Dragon Ball because they have the rights for the cards.
It's Bandai, right?
Yeah, it is Bandai. Yeah, so it's not an impossibility, but I mean, it might be a bit counter. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it's a good business move for them, but yeah, I mean that would be it. Or Final Fantasy VII, which probably wouldn't happen, but yeah, I love Final Fantasy VII.
That would be sick. Yeah.
And obviously, there's lots of big summons and stuff, so it would make for appropriate sort of card pool. I think it's definitely a possibility. But yeah, Emmy, do you want to ask the next question to Harry?
Sure. So I think it's a good question for Harry. Harry, if you had the opportunity to give any card an SPR version, what would it be and why?
Oh, but Binding Thorn and Valkyrie Callista already done. Oh, what could it be?
Can even be promos, mate.
Yeah, I mean, Maduke doesn't have an SPR, does it? I think that would be quite riz.
Right,
Promos,
it kind of does. It has your finalist one is a kind of SPR, isn't it?
It's basically an extra FO. It's not full art.
Oh, so it's not borderless now. Interesting.
Yeah, we want we want that set for Maduke. We want some artistic upgrades in some respects. But yeah, Tin Soldier. I've always got back the Tin Soldier. We win worlds. We get us lot on the Tin Soldiers. Jamie and Andre in the background chilling. We got all the boys. That would be lit. Where do I see the questions, by the way?
Oh, don't worry, I've got you. So the last question's from Type, and this one will go to Emmy. So a new TCG. It sounds like a theoretical one. A new TCG comes out, and it appears to have what it takes to be mentioned with the top 3. Mechanically, you've heard great things. However, there are some drawbacks. It's a licensed game using likeness from a property you don't really care about, and it's being published by a company you don't have faith in. Do you still pick up the game? It's like sounds like a crazy sort of
pretty on the nose, yeah.
It's like going to be the yeah. We get it. Well, for me, I mean, this is the prime example. Like, I haven't played TCGs in so many years, and then I stumble across Most Critical reviewing pizzas and talking about Battle Spirit, and then I think, oh, this looks pretty fun. And 1 year later,
is that how you saw Battle Spirits for the first time?
Yes, I thought we talked about. Yeah. I watched.
When you promote your game, it gets
conversion rate was like 1. The funnel looked like millions of views into like one person. But yeah, I was watching a pizza review while working out, I remember, and then he was just opening cards, and I was like, what is this, man? And then I just looked into it and I was like, oh, there's a launch event in London. So yeah, I checked out the game and I was like, well, this mechanic is really fun. These mechanics, but like the cores and resources. And here we are a year later. So the answer is yes. I think personally, like I like to try different things. I was talking to Andrew. Shout out Andrew. He was telling me about how Star Wars is super good as a game.
Yeah, I love it.
And that's a good example. Like, I I watch Star Wars movies. I even did like a marathon one time, but it's just not close to me. Like it doesn't represent much to me, so I really don't care that much. So I'm not really drawn to it. The mechanics seems pretty fun. I got a starter deck, but yeah, I guess it really depends if it's a fun game and who's playing it at this point as well. I think it's a big thing for me.
All right, well, there you go. So that is, thanks for the pod questions, and keep them coming, guys. Comment below or come to our Discord. We do have a channel where you can just lay off some questions for us. So yeah, that's gonna about wrap it up for this week, boys. So looking forward to the weekend where we're all gonna be hanging out in person. Maybe we'll make some content. We normally plan to do it on these events, but we have too much fun actually just hanging out.
Deck reviews for sure. Like
yeah, that's true.
Whoever's gonna win,
you're
gonna have
you always get them. You always get them on a deck review. That's true. But yeah, so next week we will discuss Wolverhampton and the American tournament, and then we'll be having season 2 finale on. We'll try and maybe get a special guest in or something like that, and do some fun stuff before we go on another little break here. It seems this season's gone very quickly, so yeah, thanks everyone for all the views. Like, we're getting a lot of engagement on, we're posting lots of videos and they're all getting watched, so we're just going to keep going with it. So if you got any feedback, anything you might want us to try out, we are open to trying new things on the channel, then let us know. But yeah, we will have 4 more videos actually coming out across this weekend: Saturday, Sunday, Monday and Tuesday, of some gameplay. So keep checking us out and hit that subscribe button, guys. Any final thoughts before we leave, guys?
Yeah, you put me on a tight schedule there. Post the videos, Josh. Thank you.
That's all right.
I can't test because I need to post.
Locals Monday, commentary Tuesday,
Yeah.
Wednesday, editing Thursday. It's a secret plan. I mean, it's conspiring against you.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got a nice gift for you though, don't I? So it's not like you're not getting rewarded for your hard work.
There's a mystery gift.
The mystery package.
Yeah. The size is pretty weird, but yeah, we'll see what it is.
Yeah, I'm excited to see your reaction. Maybe we'll film that and have a little short for YouTube or something. But thanks a lot, guys, for checking us out. Always a pleasure, and thank you, Free, for being here. We'll see you next time, guys. Peace.